Alright, so like you said, my name is Rousseau. I had to write it all weird because the guy at the front, the way it's normally spelled, I'm named after the French philosopher. So I just realized right now I'm probably the most hated guy in this room because I was named after a French guy. I'm Bengali, so I'm fucking poor. I'm Muslim, so like 3, 2, 1. You know, and I go to UC Berkeley, so I'm that college asshole that you've been talking about. So yeah, so I think it's kind of weird. You know, my mom was a philosophy major in college, and she was like, I'm gonna name my kid Rousseau. I'm fucking Bengali, right? So my eldest sister, her name means moonlight, and my other sister, her name means rose in Arabic. My little brother, his name means great warrior in Bengali. My name means dead white guy in French. So like, I think it's kind of fucked up. But like I said, so I'm a double major at UC Berkeley. I major in mathematics and computer science, so I'm pretty much majoring in keeping my virginity. What do we call it? Abstinence. Yeah, because I choose for girls not to want to have sex with me. But yeah. So I was born May 11th, 1991, and on that day it was Mother's Day. I tell my mom, like, how many one-day-old babies do you know gave their mom a present on Mother's Day? And she was like, too bad it didn't come with a gift receipt. I'm like, fuck you. So yeah, me and my mom, we're pretty cool, but my dad and I, things are a bit interesting. You know, I grew up with 2 older sisters. I was like, I always had like really feminine like hobbies. So when my dad saw I chose, Divine Secrets of the HaHa Sisterhood over football, my dad was like, okay, it's time for sports. Right? So my dad is probably the most supportive dad there is, but he does it wrong. Like, it is embarrassing. I tried telling him not to come to my games and stuff. So, like, he tried, baseball, soccer, volleyball, golf, football. Every single one, I ended up in a concussion. It wasn't even cool. But, no, but, like, my dad, I remember soccer, right? I played, and played for 6 years. I made 1 goal, right? Last game, and I scored on my own team, right? My team was so mad, they didn't even invite me to the end of the year party. I got invited by the other team, though, because it was the winning goal, and it was kind of cool. My dad was like, yeah, good job. One time I was playing baseball, and I strike out all the time because I was fucking afraid of the ball. I was a pussy, right? And I still think it's the same. But nonetheless, like, I'm there, right? And, like, I strike out, and my dad would be like, good pitch. And I'm like, Dad, I struck out. He's like, you suck. I'm like, this is it. Like, I remember one time, the pitcher pitched the ball. I thought I saw it perfectly. I was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to win the game. I'm going to win this game. I'm like, okay, perfect. The pitch comes. That's when I realized that my vision was fucked up, because the pitch was way off, knocked me in the head, I fell over, right? Everyone's quiet. Everyone's completely quiet. And then you hear my dad, good pitch. I was like, what? Right? That boy can throw a ball hard enough to knock my fat son down. It's a very good pitch. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Thanks. No, but my dad and I have a pretty interesting relationship. He got an arranged marriage, right? So he met my mom one day, got married the next day, flew to America the day after. Right? He said it was the most awkward plane ride of his life. Like, he was just like sitting next to this woman that he's going to like practically spend the rest of his life with. And she doesn't know much about him and vice versa. And, he's just like, so, what do you like? And she was like, well, I majored in English and philosophy, but I hate math. My dad's like, me too. Me too. Needless to say, my dad's a math professor, and she didn't know that about him. So, like, the first thing to hit it off, my dad's like, fuck. This is gonna suck. Let me see here. Yeah, so in high school I finally found, besides like math and science and all the things that girls love, I finally found some things that, I was pretty good at. I was in ROTC, that really nerdy club with the military outfits, and we think we're all like, badass, like Air Force guys or whatever. Yeah, so I was in that, and it was okay. So my senior year, I had like all the ribbons, I had all the medals. I was like the colonel of the corps. I was, in charge of everybody, and I got, all the awards. The one award I couldn't get was the physical training award. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't run a mile under 9 minutes. Like, I'd walk most of it. So, like, senior year comes, and, the guy, my instructor, he's announcing all the awards, and he's like, okay, Rousseau Kazi, he finally gets the physical training award. I stand up, I start like, bawling. All the freshmen are like, this is the easiest award to get. What's going on, right? And like the thing is that like my dad embarrasses me every time he comes. So I didn't even tell him about this award ceremony. You see my dad stand up, and like I said, he's supportive. He stands up, he's like, that's my son, right? And I'm like, Dad, yes. And he's like, he can't run. That's my son. And then you hear all the other cadets, all the freshmen and sophomores are like, that's my son. He can't run. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm the colonel, stop, go to attention. And then my dad's like, it's okay, I'm the colonel's father, keep going. And like everyone just keeps going. But it's also interesting, like I said, my dad got an arranged marriage. And if you guys know anything about like those traditional families, you don't talk about normal things. Like I've never had to talk with my family. Like the birds and the bees. Like I would die before I had the sex talk with my mom or my dad, right? Can you imagine? Like, my relationship with my dad is I come home and he's like, hello, son, how was school? I'm like, I like calculus. He's like, I love you too. I'm like, professor trying to explain sex to his son, right? Okay, so, okay. Okay. When a boy and a girl like each other, they form a point of intersection. Okay? And if they're very good, they can form a parabola. Okay. No, but my mom and dad got arranged marriage, so dating was kind of out of the question. They came from very traditional schools. They didn't, there's like a more like don't ask, don't tell type of thing, right? So anytime I had a girlfriend, which was not that often. The first 2 girlfriends I dated, within a week after we broke up, they came out as being bisexual. So all the guys at the school were like, what the fuck are you doing?